Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, artist to artist, a conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. I'm really honored to have this guest on tonight. It's someone that I've got to know over the past year, and he's just an amazing musician and talented musician, and he's a accomplished bassist, keyboardist, producer, and composer. Please join me in welcoming to the show the one and only Mr. Edwin Tony Nicholas.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. Thank you. Now, how much do I owe you for saying that?
I'll send you the bill.
Send me the invoice.
I'll send you. Yeah.
Do you accept Monopoly money?
No, because this isn't a Monopoly show.
Thanks for having me. This is such a huge honor. I mean, really, this is accomplished of a musician as you are. For you to say those things, either it must be true or, like you said, that invoice is coming. Either way, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here.
I forgot to mention comedian also, someone with a sense of humor.
I do whatever it takes, man, to, keep the rent paid. But those words were sincere, man. You are an incredible cat.
Thank you, man. Well, listen, thank you for being, taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on the show, because I know you're extremely busy. You're sitting in your studio, you have your band there, you guys have been rehearsing, doing your thing, and you have a number of projects going on. But real quick, let's kind of go back and let our audience know a little bit more about who, I know you as Tony, I call you Tony, but Edwin Tony Nicholas. Let's, a little bit about your upbringing before we jump into like the present projects the amazing projects that you're working on right now.
Okay. Probably as a lot of musicians would say, I knew from as early as I remember being conscious that I wanted to play music. Okay. I don't remember a time in my life when that wasn't my goal, on whatever instrument I could get my hands on, because my parents were not super supportive of that. Mm-hmm. And so in a way it wound up being a blessing, because I didn't have the instruments I asked for. So I wound up trying to make music on whatever I could get my hands on.
Right.
And so that shaped me in a different way than had I gotten the drum set that I asked for when I was 6 up until I was, whatever age. And it was no. So as a result thereof, I wound up picking up my sister's cello and learning how to play that, and somebody else's guitar. And there was a friend that I was in a band with. His older brother loaned me a bass guitar when I was in the 6th grade, and that's how I started playing that. Mm-hmm. My mother had 3 rules that I had to adhere to play music at an early age. I had to keep a 3.5 GPA in school. I also had to play in church. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, and if I came home smelling like anything other than deodorant, the deal was off. Now, I would have never been a keyboard player if my mother didn't make that rule.
Right.
Because that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to play drums and I wanted to be a bassist. But my church didn't have either of those 2 instruments. They had piano and organ. And so in order for me to satisfy the rule to play in church, I had to play piano.
Right.
Now, I probably wound up being able to be a songwriter in my adult years because of that rule that my mom made. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, there were no lessons. It was figure it out. In the 9th grade, my mom got a piano, and they put the radio at that time on top of the piano. It's like, sit there until you can play what you hear.
Right.
And those were my lessons until college.
Learn by ear.
So, yeah, that was what it was. And people's first musical experiences have a great deal of effect on what they become as a musician. When in my first theory class in college, the students in my class were like amazed that I could hear a piece of music and just play it. Mm-hmm. I was amazed that they could see a piece of music and just play it. So we were both amazed.
It's funny. That's 2 sides of the spectrum. Like, 2 sides of the coin. You could read and play, or you could hear and play. Yeah.
Yeah, but we were both just doing what we grew up doing.
Right.
So it wasn't amazing to me. I mean, this stuff wasn't complicated, but learning to read music was a challenge for me, because I would learn to play the song when I heard my teacher playing the stuff, especially when you first start and it's simple. I learned it then.
Right.
And so she didn't realize that I wasn't reading the music until she played the wrong piece one week. And I played what she played, and she's like, that was beautiful, but that has no correlation whatsoever to the music that's sitting on that piano.
Right.
Because I learned what she played the previous week.
Right.
And that's when she realized that I wasn't reading. So, we had to go back to square one, and I had to learn to read music, which, as you know, if you can't read and write the language, there's a lot you won't be considered for.
Right. Right. And also coming up in the church, there's a tradition of just playing by ear as well, too.
That's right. And I tell you what, that's another thing that I think shapes us as musicians, was like, I played gospel music. And so you say, well, why is that any different than anything else? Gospel is this weird genre where you're constantly juxtaposing minor over major and major over minor. And other music forms don't really do that. It's like, if you're playing quartet music or, like old school gospel music, it is nothing to put, a pentatonic run over minor chords, or sing a major lick over minor chords, or vice versa. And, later on in theory, I realized that the raised 9 chord has both of those elements. It has the major on the bottom and the minor on the top. But I was like, why does this music sound so different? And I figured out that was what it was. And so had I been a reader, I don't know that I would have gotten caught up in that. Right. It's just like my ears just training me that, because I haven't learned any rules yet. So I haven't learned that you don't play a minor lick over a major chord and vice versa. I was just doing what I heard people doing.
Right. And there's a lot of diminish also in the church.
Oh my God. Yeah. Now, if a guy told me, a keyboard player named Maurice White, talented cat. We first did a play together, and he was like, man, you really can play, but you need to get your diminished game together. And that's what he was talking about. He's like, you could play in church, but you got to get your diminished game up. And I didn't know what he was talking about when he said that.
That's that other color, it's like,
yeah, man.
There's a flat third and there's a flat fifth, and that's a whole nother,
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I started playing in clubs around 13. I saw every episode of Fantasy Island and Love Boat on TV, because I had to stay in the dressing room between our sets. And went off to college and studied music there. And then, some years later, I hooked up with Gerold Levert and started making records and never looked back.
Yeah, and there's been many, many, many years of you, just composing, singer-songwriter, co-producing. I mean, that's kind of a big thing for you, and it's very rare that we have a guest on the show. Most of the guests that we've had on the show are like, they play an instrument and they have their band and stuff, but you have covered a wide array of the music industry, from co-producer to producer, co-writer, composer, coach, all that stuff, on top of playing, because, you play with the OJs, you still do that. And you have a number of, how should I say, accounts going on.
Well, Mama said the rent better get paid. So she said, by any means necessary. So my thing was always, if they're paying, I'm playing, as long as the numbers make sense. I don't really, when it comes to genre, I've played in contemporary Christian rock bands. I've worked in percussion ensembles. I had a deal back in the early 2000s with Universal Latino, and I made Latin records. Okay. I've worked with some jazz artists. I've worked with gospel artists. I mean, it's really, I just love music. And I never wanted to be specific to a genre. Now, there's some argument to be made that could have hurt me in some areas, because in the 90s, you think about, that's when I came into the game. You think about the producers that were prominent in the 90s, they all had a particular sound. Right. When you heard a Babyface record, there was no denying that it was him. Right. If same with Teddy Riley. you know, and Jimmy and Terry had their own thing. It's like you could hear the sound of those records, and I never worked for that. And I tell you, when it came back to bite me, Anita Baker asked me for 3 songs. And I studied Anita Baker's records, and I sent her 3 great songs, I thought. And she said, these songs sound like me. She said, they sound too much like me. Why didn't you send me the stuff you did for Joe and the stuff you did for Gerold? And she's like, why did you mimic me? I wanted you to do you.
Right.
And I didn't know I had a sound.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm trying to like do the thing I thought she wanted. And that's when I realized, okay, you got to balance it both ways. You know, be true to the sound you have, but also, you know, it's okay to study an artist and try to do something that makes sense for them. But I think I took it too far.
Right, because she called you for what she heard you, you know, do with other folks, and she was like, "I want that sound."
Right.
Yeah. I
learned the hard way.
it's a good lesson to learn, though. I mean, but you're still here and you're still doing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And a matter of fact, you're sitting in the control room of your studio in Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's the name of your studio?
Veracity Studios.
Veracity Studio. Okay.
It's a legendary place in Cleveland. It was Beechwood Studios back many years ago. This was probably the preeminent place to record for decades in Cleveland. And you know, it's just by God's grace that I wound up taking over the space about 3 years ago. I was already in the building in a different space, but I've been here about 3 years, and man, I'm loving it. It's, you know, it's the thing that as a young musician you daydream about. You know, having a place where whatever idea comes to your head, you have every instrument that you ever thought about having to just sit down and bang out that idea. You know, but now I got to deal with the honey-do list, so I can't really just concentrate on music because you know I got to go home and fix the sagging cover on the cabinets, you know, the cabinet door, or whatever else it is on the honey-do list. But you know, so
you go there to work. You don't go there to play. You like go there to take care of business.
Well, you know what? I don't, and sometimes I come to hide from that list. But this is my sanctuary, you know, for me. Even if I'm not playing, it inspires me to come up with ideas because, as you know, because you're a composer yourself, when you compose, composing one song is easy. Composing 1,000 or 100, that's when you need the inspiration to come from wherever you can get it from.
Yeah,
you know, and some days that might be you just got a new keyboard and there are new sounds in it, and so the same chords that I would play on the piano sound different on this new software or this new keyboard, and that inspires you to do something because there comes a point career-wise where you feel like everything that's natural to you, you've done it. And so something has to restart the thing, you know. And a lot of times that will be drum sounds, it'll be you know, VST sounds, keyboard sounds, or you know, what have you, and then what's old is new again, and you start all over again.
Right. And like you mentioned, the inspiration comes from anywhere. But you know, it's really funny to hear you saying that, being that you know you have the resume that you have. I mean, like looking at your bio, I'm like, wow, man, this guy has worked with everybody from Gerold Levert to Patti LaBelle, Barry White, Joe, the Backstreet Boys, New Edition, Silk, the OJs. I mean, that's the who's who of you know the music industry, and you know that's inspiration right there.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to have done it, and I've tried to not tie myself into one thing. Like I said, that thing that may have hurt me in the 90s. I think it's what's keeping me working now, because I'll take a stab at anything. I mean, if you give me an accordion, I will figure out how to play something on it before too long, you know, because that's where the joy is for me. The joy is in creating. I never really wanted to be an artist. I was actually offered a deal. Atlantic offered me a deal in the 90s. And I wound up not taking it because I couldn't figure out how to present myself as an artist, because I didn't have that thing in me that made me want to be that.
Right.
I wanted to create for artists. We live in a funny time now where you have to do this self-promoting thing that doesn't come natural for me. But I like the creating.
Mm-hmm. Well, like one of our listeners just said, there's always a lot to learn when exposing oneself to the music field and activities related to music. You're going to learn something every day. And that's one of the questions I had for you. Being that you're so versatile in your musicianship, where do you feel more comfortable, as a performer, say on the bass, or as a composer, co-writing some of those songs you've done, or as a producer overseeing the whole project? Which one do you feel more comfortable?
Honestly, the bass guitar is my first love.
Okay.
But when it comes to composing, gotta sit at the piano for me. I've never gotten good enough to compose on guitar. I've composed a few songs on guitar, but my guitar compositions are limited to my ability on guitar, which doesn't go far. But piano has become a tool that has never let me down. And so, I can't not do what I do without that. In my spare time, I sit down and pick up the bass. But when it's time to work, I go to the piano.
And you play some drums also?
I do. Not like you. Not like you. I'm not. I'm almost reluctant to admit that on this thing with you, because you would not consider me a drummer at all. But in the time when I came into music, that job was different than it is now.
Right.
Because we were charged with keeping the pocket. And a lot of the drummers now have drum machines and clicks to keep the pocket. Right. Which frees them up to go crazy. And I didn't come from an era when that was okay. Right. It was about keeping the pocket. So, these young guys are playing things that I could never dream of. But I did play a lot of drums in college. I played for the big band for 3 years. And then I was the bassist the year that I didn't play drums. Okay. And I played on some records, but those records didn't require, a lot. You just had to have pocket and a little bit of, be tasteful. But I wouldn't do you. I can't do what you do.
But it's a challenge because, being an educator and, traveling the country and doing workshops and clinics, I come across some amazing drummers, and I'll sit down and say, okay, cool. Let's just start with basic time. Let's keep a basic groove, and then I'll show you how to build on that. And a lot of them just can't do 4 on the floor and can't do that.
They haven't had to.
Yeah.
They haven't had to.
It's like you say, the drum machine and the click track it rules. It's taken over so much of the industry right now that it's hard to separate, like, okay, this cat is actually playing, or he's just playing along with the track, or all of the fills you're hearing is him, but then the drum machine is doing this. It's a whole nother thing, That's why I love, playing jazz and playing, creative music, because it's really the true blend of everybody's creative force on the bandstand, So I really
you know what? I'm gonna say something controversial, Dion, and I might get in trouble for this, but I also blame gospel music to an extent. Gospel music has allowed a lot of musicians and encouraged a lot of musicians to overplay.
Right, but it's not only gospel music. I think for instance, in the Caribbean, I grew up in calypso and soca music. I remember in the 90s when the drum machine was introduced, the sound of the music changed immediately. And a matter of fact, I would come home and visit. Half of the gigs I would go to didn't even have a drummer, but I'm hearing multiple percussionists and all of these great sounds. And it was really, really creative, but it turned into another thing. Like you say, now I go and I hear these bands. There's a drum machine playing, there's a drummer playing. It's playing all of this stuff, crashing cymbals. There's not one mic on the drum set besides the kick drum, the snare. That's all you're hearing. And it's really, like you say, you blame gospel, but that's just one of the genres that helped to create this, situation that we have with drummers. It's we could go on and on and on and on about this, but I don't think it's just gospel music. Gospel has made that type of thing popular, but it's a lot of other genres as well too.
The disease definitely spread. Because I play at my church And I was very surprised when I first started playing there. The director kept urging me to do more. And I'm like, are you sure? Because where I came from, that would get me fired.
Right. Yeah, we came up with the school of thought of less is more. And now it's like, you got to play. I remember being on a gig and I had this one musician say to me, man, behind my soul, I just want you to play as much as you can. Just play, just beat the drums. And I was like, why? And he looked at me and said, because that's going to help me sound good. Literally. I was like, okay, got you.
I got it.
Yeah. So it's a couple of schools of thoughts, and it's wide open now. But again, you've come up in this tradition, not only from your education in college, but growing up in church, and then just being on the road working with all these great musicians. That you have this wealth of knowledge, and you've implemented in your music, and it's just great, man. I can't wait to start playing some of your music in a minute. We'll get to that, but
thank you, sir.
Yeah. There's another comment here. Streaming has diminished the sound of the music. Yeah,
I think it has. What also has that people don't think about? iTunes. When iTunes broke up the albums, that did us a great disservice, and I'm going to tell you why. As a kid, I would pick up an album, and I couldn't wait for those deep album cuts that might not become the single, because most of the albums back then were produced by one producer or one production team, and so they didn't mind having some album cuts that were more musical, and you knew they weren't going to be a single, but it gave the albums depth.
Right.
Now, everybody's trying to get the single, because if they don't get the single, the song may never get heard enough to make any money.
You're trying to get the hit. So you have an album with 12 songs produced by 12 different people with 12 guest artists.
Right. And no depth.
If not more guest artists, so everybody's trying to outdo each other. And that's part of the challenge. Like I said, the barriers, like that, have really kind of kept the music intact has been removed. So it's just kind of free for all for everyone,
How's it going to come back, Dion? How are we going to bring music back?
I don't know, man. People, it's hard because it's a reflection. Mind you, now the music that we're dealing with and what we're dealing with is just a reflection of the world that we're living in. In the 60s, during Vietnam and the civil rights and all of that, jazz musicians was on the cover of Time magazine. They were the trendsetters. People like Nina Simone and some of these artists would go out and actually their music reflected the times, and they actually work hard in their music and to bring people together. There was a sense of awareness. There was self of purpose. There was a sense of pride, a sense of righteousness. A lot of that have disappeared. I listen to the music from the Caribbean, and there's no imagination. Just out the gate, they just bam, 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 bam. It's just like it's really hard to just kind of enjoy a song these days because it's just in your face right away. And I think asking me how it's going to come back, I don't know, but because it's a reflection of our times. People are frustrated, they're scared, they're angry, and that's what's happening, and that's what we're hearing in the music.
You're not frozen, are you?
No, I'm good. So that's my take on it. So, but can you hear me? We have a comment here. When people expect music to be free, quality ends. What other professions do you work for years and then give away your work?
Yes. And I don't blame the people because they didn't create the infrastructure that made music free. I can't blame them.
But it's not free though. Somebody's making money. Let's be mindful here. It's not Spotify, all of these streaming platforms. It's not free. They are making money. It's impossible for people to put this whole infrastructure and stream around the world and not make money on it. The artists are not making any money. That's what it is. So it's not like you're giving it away for free. You want your music to be heard, but that's the only platform that we have. The local stations are suffering. Nobody's selling CDs. The only time you could sell your recording is on a live concert anymore. Everything is a download, and who's going to track that download?
Right.
That's what's, that's why folks are in front of Congress right now trying to figure out how to, figure this out. How do we track and have accountability for these streaming services, because nobody's making money.
There's a reason why our artists are having a hard time getting paid, and
Right.
Apple is sitting on literally $1 trillion.
Oh yeah,
That's just one of them. These
Yeah.
guys are making money hand over fist, and I see your comment, and you are absolutely right. They are, because they're not paying a fair royalty to the people that created the music that they're playing. And we're going to run into that same problem with AI, because AI is making music now, and their AI learned off of music that you and I created.
Right.
But there's no compensation to the people that trained AI to make those records. It didn't just come up with it. It's just faster than us, because it has all of the music that's ever been put online to learn from.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's an open market now, and so a lot of the music that the younger generation has created, is out of frustration. They don't understand that there is a platform to make money, and they're just putting it out there. And like you mentioned earlier in this interview, that you're not good at self-promotion. If you want to get a gig at a popular club, say in New York, the first thing they ask you is like, how many social media following do you have? How many hits do you have? Can I see your profile? It's not even about the music. That's like the last thing they want to know. How many tickets can you sell? It's up to the artist to sell the tickets. Yes, every artist, you should be able to sell tickets, but if I can't sell X amount of tickets, then I don't get paid, because the door didn't make that, and the club is going to keep that. It's really an interesting way of seeing, where things are these days.
Well, the record labels used to do that work.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they used to do that work. Now they want you to do that work.
They want you to do it. Yeah. And then even if you have a product that you want to put out, to get signed just for distribution deal, these folks want at least a minimum of 75% of your royalties. They want 75% percentage of what comes in. So if you make $1, they're taking 75 cents. So it's
That's right.
really hard. So it's it's a challenge. It's hard to be a musician these days. It's hard to be an artist these days, unless you sign with one of the bigger labels, and that has its challenges. But it's so how do we change it? I don't know. So these are the conversations I have with my students. Realistically, I'm like, listen, you want to pursue this, you're talented, you have this dream, but be realistic to the world that we're living in, and have a plan. So many artists my age right now, I remember when we all got to New York in the early 90s, and we were just hungry to go on the road. We just wanted to tour. And now we all have teaching jobs.
Right. Yep.
We all
because life be life, and you gotta get some security, and that has to come from somewhere.
Yep. Somebody says that 0.008 per stream, the artist can make enough money and just work for something else, full time.
Yeah.
Make 100,000, 100 million streams, and you only make 800. Really, exactly. So the scale is not balanced anymore. It's really not. And that's just the world that we live in, and it's justifiable because there's no infrastructure. Back then, when the music, I blame it on the music industry, because when streaming was coming about and Napster and downloads and all, they didn't jump on it.
Right.
Nobody put an infrastructure in place, so it was not.
They didn't take it seriously.
They
didn't take it seriously.
No, they didn't. So, and that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. But that's a whole nother thing, and we could go on about that, but that's not why I really had you here invited. We wanted to get to know Tony, and we wanted to get to know, we wanted to hear your music. So let's jump into some of that.
Okay.
Because we could keep talking about, and you and I have had this conversation offline about the industry and all of that, but that's, thank you for sharing, those things with us. But I know our audience really wants to hear the music behind the man, behind this creative mind. So,
Okay.
so let's jump into some of that. You shared some songs with us, which I've been digging, man. I've been enjoying them. So
Thank you, sir.
let's share them with our audience. You cool with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the first song that we have here is entitled "I Wish I Could Fly." Tell us about that.
It was written during the pandemic, and it's a pandemic song, and the words reflect some of the heaviness that you can feel sometimes making it through life, because adulthood is not what they promised us. It's not what they promised us. I mean, we were told when we were kids that adulthood would be a certain thing. It's not that. Yeah, I get to stay up as late as I want to, but now I want to go to bed. So that's not even fun. It is the first time that I ever sang on a record. So it's a first from that standpoint.
Okay.
And it's actually the first song I've ever done that didn't have a ton of chord changes. So it's a first in a couple of ways. It's not, probably people that know me wouldn't think that I did that record, because I used to be called Tony Bridges, because there was always a bridge that went somewhere, and this record is really about a groove. And that's not normally the way I write. So it's a first and like I said, it's also the first record that I ever sung in my life.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
Couple firsts.
Well, let's check it out. I Wish I Could Fly.
Already.
Damn, it's going crazy out here.
And struggles have become friends of mine. This endless hustle can't find peace of mind. Friends keep on telling me that I'm not the same.
Man, that's felt good. It felt good hearing that again.
Yeah, man. So first for that, huh? I'm checking you out.
If you can excuse the singing, man, it's I am not a singer, but you know, the groove, you know, got me.
Yeah.
So
it works.
And thank you, Janice.
It works, yeah. Love the smooth groove, so lovely. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Love the instrumentation and the arrangement. Yeah.
I'm so old school. I'm still all real instruments.
I dare say part of me, frankly, sometimes did wish I could not just fly away, also to disappear from the atmosphere I was in during the period of the global pandemic. Okay. Yeah.
So you know how I felt. You know, thank you. The song, it was just a weird time to be here, man. It was, and and part of it was, you know, not to be political, but it wasn't just the pandemic. It was also, you know, our government's response to the pandemic that had me very, very afraid of what was to come.
Well, I hear you. But what's to come is a new day. So we're gonna check this one out.
Now, what I'll tell you about that, if it's not obvious, this was my response to the George Floyd killing.
Okay, so this is another composition by Tony here, and this is entitled "New Day." Let's check it out.
This is dedicated to those who loved and lost at the hands of injustice. It's gotta stop. Been here before, but what are we doing? Today is a new day. Ooh, kneeling down, but it's not working. Fighting for losing. No one's hearing punishment. Can't make a living. Gotta find another way. Today is a new day. Today is a new day. Today is a new day. Ooh. We've come a long way. Got a longer distance. Higher resistance. We get caught in our feelings. So we stop the cars again. I can't breathe. Another consequence. Another ambulance. Fire's burning high. Trying to get some attention. The man in position. He's on another mission. Another mission. She's got another mission.
Yo, talking to myself in the mirror like a new day. Another chance to make them hear what you say. Raise your fist and resist the true hate. Do great and repeat a new day. Huh. Just imagine the fun we'd all have without the fear of a badge and a gun. We dash and we run, even when there's no reason to. Fight up like conditioning whenever we see the blue. And red lights for black and brown folks. Protect and serve turns to attacks and ground chokes. Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of cops have been conditioned to be more scared of me. I get it, racism is taught and passed down and shot through a service weapon in every last round. You good ones, your silence is violence that can't be. Listen to my people's whisper saying I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
Innocent baby crying, 'cause dad is dying. Mama, don't you cry. It's gonna be alright. I'll be here with you. I don't want them to shoot. Ooh. We're kneeling down again, but they're still not learning. No one's listening.
I hear that.
I am. I can play a loop and loop it.
Yeah, I hear that. That's great. Now tell us, so who that beautiful song. Who is that vocalist?
Her name is Audrey Maupin. She was in the band, but unfortunately, during COVID, she caught COVID and it did something funky to her voice. And so that's why she's not in the band right now. But that was my co-writer, and she and I started the band together.
Mm-hmm.
The song is out. But it was just released as a single as our response to the George Floyd situation. Sadly, this could have been released today. Right. Because of what's going on in Minneapolis. And, I wish that it wasn't, relevant today, but it is. Right. And that's one thing about making music. We have an incredible power to speak. We have an incredible power to change the world. And I feel like I'm not doing my job if there aren't things that I don't speak on when it applies. Yeah. So that's my response to that.
Great, beautiful.
And thank you for the comment. That I really appreciate.
Yeah,
that.
Beautiful comments, everyone. So this was arranged by Tony here.
I played everything on the record. Audrey and I did it together. She did the vocals. There's a gentleman named Zoo that did the rap, but I played all the instruments.
Beautiful.
Thank
Multi-talented. I love it.
That's the kind of drummer I am. I could play like that. I can't do what you do.
It's all
bars and loop it.
It's all great, man. Beautiful. So let's continue with this because again, I'm so happy that our audience is hearing this because I get to sit behind the scene when you send this in, and I could just chill and relax, to this music for days before you even hit the show. So, I'm really enjoying this part of the show.
I got to come back, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the next song that you shared with us is a favorite, and this is your arrangement of it. This is entitled "Practice What You Preach."
I got a story when we get back.
All right, let's hear it, and we'll hear the story after. Great.
Okay.
keep telling me this, telling me that. Say once a week you won't never go back. Say there's a lesson that you wanna teach. Here I am, baby. Practice what you preach.
Telling you this and telling you that. I say what you want me will never go back. 'Cause there's a lesson that I'm gonna teach.
Here I am, baby. Practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Practice what you preach, baby. Keep on talking, baby. But talking is cheap. Got to put up and shut up, baby. Practice what you preach.
I got what you need.
Keep on talking, baby. But talking is cheap. Got to put up and shut up, baby. Practice what you preach. You keep on talking, baby. Talking is cheap. Got to put up and shut up, baby.
So you hear my boy Kelly O'Neill playing on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Kelly O'Neill is the sax player. He's got some records out of his own. He also was playing the flute on I Wish I Could Fly. And he's also going to play sax on the song that you're going to play last. I've been trying to draft him into the band, but he lives in Atlanta and we're in Cleveland. But he's in a horn section called the Tuscaloosa Horns. And they play with everybody. But Kelly, he's an honorary member of the E-Tones. I love his playing. I love his style. You also heard my boss Walt from the OJs adding some ad-libs because when he heard me working on the record, he insisted on getting a little bit of it.
Yeah. What I enjoy about it, it's like a halftime feel pocket.
Yeah.
But then you know, but then it's moving on this, you know, it has this drive to it, but then the organ.
Thank you.
The organ connects it to me. That's your church in you. That's the church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's the whole vamp is church.
Yeah.
You know, when we get to that, it's church. And I sang background vocals on that, but Walt is the one really adding all the, you know, the juicy ad libs here and there.
So for our audience, what's Walt's full name?
Walter Williams Sr., co-lead singer of the OJs.
Yeah.
It's he and Eddie Levert.
Yeah.
And I've done some records with Eddie as well, but Walt's been doing a lot of stuff with me lately. He keeps asking when I'm going on tour so he can leave the OJs and come and sing in our band. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but he keeps asking me, man.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's girl is doing the female part.
Okay.
You know, so it was just something that we wound up having a bunch of fun doing. Obviously, as you know, I wrote the original record. This is a remake. The original one was Barry White. Right. Probably one of the hardest records I've ever had to produce in my life because Barry made himself intentionally difficult to work with. Fun guy to be around, but he wanted to change a few words and ask for a percentage of the publishing. So he didn't want to sing it around me. So I went out to LA to record this song, and this guy had an excuse every day as to why we couldn't work. And I left him with a demo of the song. I didn't put all the stuff on it because I wasn't sure that the key was the right key.
Right.
So what I was planning on doing is making sure the key was right, and then I was going to produce the record. So I left him with this little janky demo of the song. I got tired of waiting. I'm like, Barry, you sing the record, send it back to me when it's done. It took him 1.5 years to send that record back to me.
Wow.
And so once I got the record back, I went out and produced the song. The key was cool, everything. He called me and he said, yeah, Doc, all those guitars and things are cool, but OBW put it back how it was. He mixed the demo and put it out. He mixed the demo tracks that were never separated, never played. He
Uh-huh.
mixed the demo and put it out, and it sold 3 million copies.
Hey.
And so this was finally my chance to make the record that I wanted to make back then, but I didn't get a chance to because it didn't work out that way. So, you know, I guess it worked out the way it needed to.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun little track. We had fun doing it. It was written for the OJs. They turned it down. Walt to this day says that nobody ever played it for him. He's pissed to this day that they didn't get that record. But I think it was only a hit because Barry White sung it. There was something about his voice and the gravitas that he could bring to the track that I think is what made it work. I think it wouldn't have been a hit if the OJs sung it, honestly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, and this is a great presentation of it also. I'm enjoying it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
One of these days when we get our money up, we're going to get you to play on one of our records.
It's all good. It's all good. Listen, man, our time is almost up. We have a few minutes, but you shared one more song with us. I want to get that song in, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. This song is entitled Supergirl.
This is my boss, Walt Williams.
To a man like me, no time for games, no tricks up my sleeve. Cause at the end of the day, I know what matters to me. Love for real, love so real. He may have done things he shouldn't have done to you. Don't you worry, baby, his time is through. Cause the way I feel for you, I find it hard to explain. Try, it's all in vain. It's the best way I can explain. You're my Supergirl, Supergirl. Don't you know you changed my world, Supergirl. Just tell me what I gotta do. I plan on sticking around if that's alright with you. Whoever passed on the opportunity to make you happy, he didn't know what he had. He was just plain crazy. I'd go out of my mind if you ever left me, baby. Was at the end of the line when your love came and saved. So baby, I wanna tell you what's on my mind. Can't be nothing but time, baby. You're my Supergirl, Supergirl, Supergirl. Change the world, Supergirl, Supergirl.
That was Supergirl. Yes.
That guy right there is one of my inspirations because in his 80s, he's still dying to make new records and make more records. He's coming to the studio tomorrow night to record a new record. And it's like he's Walt just doesn't get tired of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he can do that in his 80s, what excuse do I have?
Right.
You know, he and Eddie are both that way. The backgrounds were sung by myself and a gentleman named Stephen Fowler, who also co-wrote the song with me. He's an incredible talent in his own right, but he and I did the backgrounds, and then the rest of it is Walt from the OJs.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Tony, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for sharing your great music. As you can tell from the comments, our audience have enjoyed it, and it's been, wonderful and entertaining for them and informative for me. So it's really great to get to know more about you and your background. I learned a lot. I'm gonna send you the invoice. I don't forget.
Did we ever decide on the Monopoly money? What was the verdict on that?
No, we already decided no Monopoly money. This is a Monopoly show, so that's the verdict. But no, seriously, before I let you go, let our audience know how they can follow you. I know you mentioned that you're not good at promoting yourself, but any website, social media, anything that you can share, please.
eTonestheband.com.
eTones
the band, and it's ETONS, not ETONES. So it's just like eTonstheband.com.
Okay.
We're around. We have an album coming out, I want to say in about 6 weeks. Sarah's Girl is right behind us. About 8 weeks, her album will be released, and we would love to come back anytime you'll have us.
Beautiful. Well, we will definitely have you back. Definitely want to bring Sarah's Girl on the show and share that wonderful story as well. So
Perfect.
Again, man, thank you, Tony. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you and spending time with you, man. So all the best. Continued success to you.
Thank you, sir. Let's do it again.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care. Yes, that was the one and only Edwin Tony Nicholas with his story and music. So we really, really, we had a good time tonight. So check him out, support him. eTonestheband.com is where you can follow them and enjoy the music. Come back next week, Sounds of the Diaspora, as I bring to you another amazing talent. This gentleman, I just actually came back from China on tour with Elio Villafranca, and he was the bass player. And we got to play a lot of music and hang out together. His name is Edward Perez, bassist. Come back next week and hang out at Sounds of the Diaspora and hear his story and check out his music. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. All the best. Have a great evening.